Imperial Bodybuilding here. You know the score. I bring you the latest bodybuilding news. Now, lads, look, I have to apologise because even though the dust has settled from the Olympia now, I felt that before the Olympia, I spoke and I blew that much smoke up Nick Walker's backside. You know, I was talking about the abomination is here, that Nick Walker is going to smoke everyone. And the only thing that Nick overwhelmed people with was the size of his stomach. Now, I'm the biggest Nick Walker fan, but I do feel like we're not being told a lot of things. As you know, he recently stopped working with Kyle Wilkes, which for me was a bad decision anyway. You know, you've been out the Olympia for 2 years. You want to come at your very best. And you choose someone like Kyle Wilkes when you have the likes of Chris Aceto, Chad Nichols, even Hanny Rambod could have potentially prepped Nick. Who knows? But Nick, what I don't like about Nick is the fact that he's not given any praise because Kyle Wilkes did an excellent job. He brought Nick in dialed and full. Probably the best look, I think, to date at the Pittsburgh Pro, even though he didn't win. And we all know that he should have won. But let's just see what Nick thought was his best look to date. Now, looking at the package that Nick brought at the Arnold Classic 2021, my first thoughts, and I think this is a very, very underrated package. The balance from Nick Walker's physique is very, very hard to critique. Upstairs, he had those 3D Death Star delts. He was still popping full. The condition was exemplary. The only weakness he really had was from the back. I think Pittsburgh was bigger. It was more detailed and dense. But from downstairs, if you look at the hamstrings, the adductors, like that is why they call him the mutant. It was a very polished physique, and the biggest, I'm not going to say improvement, but the biggest place that he's regressed was from the stomach. You see how dialed and separated the stomach was here at the Arnold Classic. This was an amazing package, but let's not forget that the runner-up was Ian Valliere. In third place was Steve Kulko, and then Akeem Williams in fourth. So this was a very weak lineup. And my question to you lads is, where would Nick have finished? If this physique would have turned up this year, where would Nick have finished and placed at the 2025 Mr. Olympia? The 2021 Arnold Classic package, the 2022 package of Nick Walker was excellent. The problem that I have now, lads, is we're not in 2021 or 2022. This is a different physique. The stomach is bigger, Nick's bigger overall. But after that was posted, I went into the comments section, and to say I had a giggle is a bit of an understatement. So let's see what the fans of Nick Walker are now saying. So if you look at the first comment, it says, don't surround yourself with people who are only going to give you what you want to hear. Jimmy29 Lee says, stop hiring your friends as coaches. Go out of your comfort zone and have someone push you. World's Buffest Lawmaster says, Pittsburgh was arguably your best. Either that or 2021 Arnold, which seems impossible to achieve again due to the midsection. This comment says, dude, you're about to unfollow. This dude's about to unfollow himself the next show. So as you can see, people are starting to wake up to Nick and they're starting to question him. Elite Marine 55 says he's about to become a food challenge vlogger. Savage. Look lads, I mean, Nick Walker, he's been talking so much. I've been hearing people calling him Nick Talker. But let me know what you think. Is the game over for Nick? Does he now need to be honest with people and say, look, I'm just not good enough at this level for the top three? Let me know in the comment section, lads, what you think. We'll talk about Samson Dauda. Obviously a very disappointing year for Samson. Lost the Arnold Classic. And then to come into the Olympia and not only finish second or third, but to go down to fourth place. And if that wasn't bad enough, then just this past weekend, he lost to Martin Fitzwater. And to take nothing away from Martin looked incredible. But I just feel that Samson, obviously he's been told to come in condition at the Olympia, which he did. Was it jaw-dropping condition that we thought we were going to see? No. So what I think Samson needs to do, he needs to decide if he's going to come in, because his strength is the overwhelming mass with the silhouette, the structure. Is he going to next Olympia try and come in peeled again, which doesn't work, he was 20 pounds lighter? Or is he going to play to his strengths, which was just the fullness? Let's hear what Fawad Obiad, his mentor and his sponsor, had to say about Samson.
Losses, obviously Samson going from first to fourth, huge loss. You know, usually when a Mr. Olympia loses his title, it's by one spot. You know, when Jay lost or when Ronnie lost, these things, they usually end up in second. But Samson slipped, so big loss of the show.
So as Foward said, for a former Mr. Olympia who was only first last year to go to fourth this year, look, it's nothing short of an embarrassment. And I am a massive fan of Samson Dauda, not just his physique, but the personality that he is. And when I saw Samson at Prague, the first time I saw him, I thought, wow, this is an improvement from the Olympia. He looked like the old Samson with that added fullness. I mean, Ivan Bodybuilding was criticising the legs, but lads, the legs are barely downsized. If you compare his legs from the 24 to this year at the Prague Pro, I thought he looked just as good. Now, the problem that he had was he came up against the best Martin that we've seen. Martin looked full, he looked improved from his weaker poses. And Martin just had that pop and that polish that Samson just lacked. Now, would Martin beat the best or a 2024 version of Samson Dauda? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. But look, Martin was impressive. He looked down below, the glutes, the hamstrings were just popping, the shreddedness, the detail on Martin's physique. I can see why he won, and he just saw the confidence exuding from Martin. As soon as he come on stage, he knew that Samson Dauda was vulnerable, and he capitalised on it. You look from the back, I think Martin's back is far superior. You look at the glutes, the hamstrings, even the shape of the back. All that Martin needs to do to be Mr. Olympia is to put on another 5 to 10 pounds of muscle, especially on the lats. You really see the downsized and the weakness which comes on the front lat spread. But if he can improve from the back, you are looking at a Mr. Olympia, because the judges want a balanced physique. They don't want a Nick Walker who is strong in 2 or 3 poses. They want someone that is polished, that is well-rounded in every pose. And I just think that Martin has everything to be Mr. Olympia. For me, he impresses me far more than Derek. He's just got that pop and that aesthetic look that a Mr. Olympia should be. So look, you can see on Martin's face how happy he was, because he knew that he had this win in the bag. But let me know what you think. Is Martin a future Mr. Olympia? Let me know in the comments. Last but not least, we have to talk about Keone Pearson, who has just also made his open debut at the Prague Pro. And for me, pound for pound, Keone is the best bodybuilder. He's most aesthetic. He's got the best shape. It's just his detail, his proportions, they are otherworldly. However, there are just a few concerns, and I want to know your opinion in the comment section. Should Keone stay in the 212 division, where he could win another 3 or 4 division titles quite easy? As you see here, the problem that he's got is because of his height, and I'm not taking away, I'm not criticising him, but because of his height, he looks small. And if he adds another 10 to 15 pounds of muscle, the stomach is also going to get bigger. And that is going to be a problem for the judges' eyes, and he's going to be marked down. So what should Keone do? We obviously know that he's not working with Patrick Tor anymore. But going forward, when he finds a new coach, should he stay in the 212 division, or should he put the extra 10 pounds of muscle to compete in the open? I want to know your thoughts. Lads, if you've liked the video, leave me a comment, a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.